Hey guys, in today's video I'll be doing another tropical update. And man, the Atlantic is truly alive now. And honestly is really living up to its name for the peak of the season, which we are now in. And we are, currently we're at September 4th, and the true peak day of the hurricane season is September 10th. We are less than a week away from the official peak day of the hurricane season. And as you can see, Omar is somehow still holding on as a tropical depression. I don't know how. I mean, it's kind of odd. It's going to go into be a post-tropical system soon, but I mean, I guess we can finally actually say goodbye to Omar, and it'll be finally history by later today or by at least tomorrow. So there goes Omar, and then there's this other disturbance up here, up to the north, east of Omar, which like the National Hurricane Center was eyeing for potential development, but it's so far north it was never really gonna do anything. There's a 0% chance of formation, so disregard that entirely. There's these two disturbances in the MDR. The second disturbance has a 20 to 30% chance of formation. What's interesting about the second disturbance is that actually it could either merge with this disturbance or just kind of just get choked off, really. So it might honestly just the most likelihood of this second disturbance is that it'll just be sucked up into this other disturbance and make this disturbance stronger and bigger, have better potential with a bit more energy. Anyway, this first disturbance has a 40% chance of formation within the next 2 days and an 80% chance of formation within the next 5 days. It says a tropical wave and area of low pressure located just west of the Cabo Verde Islands is producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Gradual development of this system is expected as it moves westward to west-northwestward, and a tropical depression is likely to form later this weekend or early next week when the system reaches the central tropical Atlantic. If we look at the 5-day graphical tropical weather outlook, high chance of development as it continues towards the west and northwest in the northern part of the MDR. It's just still a question on like what these systems will do. I definitely think that we'll get Paulette from this system. And then the next name is the R name, which is Rene, and this system could potentially become Rene. Though, as of right now, it says another tropical wave is forecast to move off the west coast of Africa on Sunday. Gradual development of this system is then expected, and a tropical depression could form by the middle of next week while it moves generally westward over the far eastern tropical Atlantic. So the area of disturbed weather, the tropical wave is currently in over very western Africa. It should be emerging into the Atlantic pretty soon, over at least the next day or two, and then it'll take its time a little bit until towards the middle of the week, this upcoming week, to get enough of its act together to become a tropical system. And so there's a chance that we could have another like kind of two storms right near each other, kind of like what we had with Marco and Laura, and then also with Nana and Omar in a way. But this kind of trend kind of will still continue with two systems in a way, near each other. This system already has a 60% chance of development over the next 5 days, 0% chance of development over the next 2 days, and that chance for 2 days will start to go up pretty significantly, especially once it starts to get over the water in the next couple of days. And then once we enter go into like this Monday, Tuesday, the chances for it will really start to go up most likely, and it will most likely start to become pretty much likely that it will form getting towards Tuesday, Wednesday, I'd say at this point. So, the Atlantic is certainly alive, and it's not too big of a surprise. What was Nana, by the way, has now gone into the Pacific and has a pretty decent chance of becoming the next named system potentially in the Eastern Pacific. We should actually watch that because it has a 60% chance of formation within the next 2 to 5 days. So that's a pretty high medium chance, almost at a high chance of development already. And it says that conditions are expected to be only marginally conducive for further development during the next couple of days, but only a small increase in thunderstorm activity could result in the formation of a tropical depression. So, according to the National Hurricane Center, this system already has enough spin and energy to it that with just a little bit more thunderstorm convection, it could become the next kind of tropical system for the Eastern Pacific, which is fascinating because this would be literally become like a true basin crosser. It was a named tropical system in the Atlantic, crosses into the Eastern Pacific, becomes the next named storm in the Eastern Pacific. That is crazy. And that's probably the second basin crosser we've seen this year for the hurricane season, which is crazy. Now let's go to tropical tidbits, and if we go to satellite imagery, let's see. It just says Omar. It's funny. All right, here's Invest 91L, and I believe this was the one that has only like a 20 to 30% chance of development. You can see it has a lot of like convection and stuff with it, but it doesn't have any good set area of spin, or just like a set area of enough thunderstorm activity to be like its true like own kind of potential tropical system. It's kind of just like just a lot of extreme amounts of convection moving through the MDR that is being tagged for maybe potential development, but it's not too likely. Here's Invest 92L, and this is the one near the Cabo Verde Islands. We gotta let this load in, but you can see it has a lot of convection with it, and as it starts to head more towards the west and northwest, it will start to look a lot better in terms of have a lot better of a kind of spin to it, a lot more convection blowing up all around it, and will look a lot more like an actual potential tropical system. So we gotta watch this system, especially heading into the latter part of the weekend into early next week. Now let's look at the forecast models and show you what the forecast models are showing. This is the GFS model, and let's zoom this in a little bit so you guys can see it better. And as we head forward in time, this is going into Saturday, Sunday, into Monday. This is Labor Day now, going to Tuesday, Wednesday. You can see it shows there's 90. Bring this back. Actually, I got to keep track here to get you guys more up to date. This is 92L, kind of sucks in 91L and becomes a better organized system. And then there's that other system that's going to emerge off of Africa right behind it, becoming pretty strong. But then they, in a way, kind of do, and it seems, a Fujiwara effect. And then, oh, this is interesting. And then they kind of loop back around. At least this one does. This one does a kind of a loop, and then they go like hand in hand back around and out to sea. So that's very, very fascinating. And then there's this next potential tropical system, maybe, as we head towards September 20th. So, again, we could be entering the Greek alphabet because we've already gotten through the O name. So we only have 6 names left on the pre-designated list for this year's hurricane season. So we most likely will get through those last 6 names within the next 2-3 weeks. And then we'll most likely enter the Greek alphabet by the very end of September, just before October begins. And October looks to potentially be maybe kind of a bit more of an active period as well, if we look at the what the MJO phases are looking like heading into October. None of these like literally load in. It's kind of annoying. But as you can see, we enter more of a sinking phase of the MJO, which won't really do much for activity, honestly, because we're already into the very peak of the season, so the activity is just going to be still pretty crazy. But then as you can see, as we head into early October and head between, especially as we head towards between October 9th and 16th, according to the CFS weekly model for the MJO, we go back towards a neutral and conducive phase of the MJO for the Atlantic. So heading towards, as it looks like right now, heading towards towards the end of October, getting towards Halloween, we could be going back into a pretty favorable period for tropical development. So that'll be very, very interesting to watch. And I gotta say, I think there is a decent chance that we do get quite close, if not tie 2005. There is a slight chance, maybe we could be 2005. A lot of us are like, I don't know, maybe not. It seems a lot of us are still on the fence, But honestly, if all this activity continues like it has been, we definitely could, because 2005 got through 6 Greek alphabet names, got through Zeta. And we have 6 names left on the just the pre-designated list already, and we're still in the peak of the hurricane season. So we could really fly through all these names real quick and just get into the Greek alphabet and just zoom through a bunch of names in that as well. So, I mean, listen, anything is on the table. It's literally the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season has just been a total curveball. It's just like, like we've been just like the forecast for the season have been a majority of the time pretty accurate. Especially NOAA's latest forecast, calling for 19 to 25 named storms, 7 to 11 hurricanes, and 3 to 6 major hurricanes. That's pretty accurate, though I gotta say, for me, I think we'll get a lot closer towards 25, maybe even get a little higher than 25 named storms. That's just my personal forecast and what I think. But as of right now, we've already gone through 15 total storms, 5 hurricanes, and 1 major hurricane. We've already had 15 names. We've gone through 15 names already, and it's only September 4th. And here's even a chart. Look at this. Here's even a chart of all the names so far that have beaten the previous by storm number record, or earliest forming storm number record. Cristobal beat Colin of 2016, and then Edward through Omar became the record earliest forming named storms by storm number, beating a bunch of the named storms that formed in 2005. Laura beat Luis in 1995. Marco beat Maria from 2005, Lee from 2011, because Maria and Lee in both those years tied for record earliest forming on September 2nd of both those years. And then Nana and Omar beat Nate and Ophelia in 2005. So we are ahead of 2005, especially in terms of amount of storm names that we've had thus far. Of course, 2005 is way ahead of us in terms of ACE and really everything else. Though if I show you what the ACE is at this point in the hurricane season, it's already at 42.4075 units. So the ACE has started to go up a lot recently, especially just because of Hurricane Laura happening, becoming a strong Category 4. Look at how intense that hurricane was at peak intensity. I mean, that is insane. But again, this will likely continue, and if we look at the names here, the names gone through Omar, and now next is Paulette, then Rene. I think going into this upcoming week and going to the end of this upcoming week, so over the next week and a half or so, I'll say that I think we'll get through Paulette, Rene, and maybe Sally. So I think we could get through potentially the next 3 names on the list over the next week and a half. We'll see if that does occur. But that's entirely possible. Anything is possible during this hurricane season, honestly. And just to comment on when we could see our first Category 5, honestly, we could see that quite soon, in all honesty, especially with where we are, starting to get towards the very peak of the season, and how active the Atlantic is, and now especially where all of the tropical systems are forming out in the MDR. All those systems have a lot more time to get their acts together and intensify if they're able to, if the environment they're in allows them to. They could really intensify quite far and become a Category 5. Laura almost became a Category 5, and so, that just shows you the true potential of what could happen as we head, especially over the next month and a half or so alone, and especially just short term within the next few weeks. But again, this was a quick update for you guys on the tropics, what the Atlantic is doing right now, just how active it is. And so hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, comment, and especially if you're a first-time viewer, consider subscribing. And I'd love to get any of these videos out to as many people as possible to keep them informed of the tropics, and just to let them know if there's any kind of potential dangerous tropical systems that may impact their area at some point. So please consider subscribing and liking the video to make sure as many people as possible are aware of how potentially dangerous this hurricane season is, and could be going, especially into the next few weeks. But again, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.